Berlin, 1945. The war is ending, but nothing about the city feels like peace. Buildings are torn open like broken bones. The air smells of smoke and hunger, and the streets are filled with people who have already lost everything except their fear. The Red Army has arrived after years of brutality, years of watching their own villages burn. Their families disappear, their bodies stack up by the millions. This is the moment history prepares us for revenge. This is the moment when hatred would make sense. If there were ever a time when cruelty could be justified, this would be it. Victory is supposed to feel clean, triumphant, final, but real victory rarely is. The soldiers walking through Berlin are exhausted, angry, and carrying memories that will never leave them. Every brick in the city belongs to an enemy that once promised their destruction. Every window could hide a threat, and yet, among the ruins of the defeated capital, something far more dangerous than bullets appears. Silence. A silence broken only by footsteps, distant cries, and the quiet realization that the war may be over, but the damage it caused is still breathing. And then, in the middle of all this destruction, the soldier sees something that doesn't fit the story of enemies and victories. A child, thin, dirty, not holding a weapon, not shouting slogans, not even crying anymore. Just standing there, hungry, afraid, and small against the weight of history. This child belongs to the side that lost, the side that caused unimaginable pain. And in this moment, the soldier has a choice no one prepared him for. The soldier knows exactly what he is supposed to feel in this moment. He is supposed to remember the faces of the dead, the cold nights at the front, the screams, the hunger, the orders that kept coming no matter how many men fell. He is supposed to see the uniform of the enemy, even though this child isn't wearing one. He is supposed to walk past, because stopping is dangerous, because compassion was never part of the plan, because in war, mercy can look like betrayal. No one is watching him closely, but that almost makes it worse. This is not a staged moment, not something meant for medals or speeches. There is no camera, no commander giving permission, no history book waiting to praise him. There is only a starving child in the ruins of a city that has already lost the war, and a soldier who understands that helping her could mean punishment. Food is rationed, rules are strict, discipline is survival, and yet he moves. He gives her food, not as a grand gesture, but quietly, quickly, as if even kindness must be hidden in a place like this. The child doesn't thank him with words. She doesn't need to. Her hands shake, her eyes stay wide, unsure whether this mercy is real or another trick of a world that has taught her not to trust. For a brief moment, the war pauses. Not officially, not politically, but humanly. In that exchange, the roles of victor and defeated blur into something older and more fragile. One person refusing to let another starve. This is what makes the moment dangerous. Not the act itself, but what it represents. Because when a soldier helps the child of his enemy, he breaks the simplest rule war depends on. That suffering must continue forward, never backward. He proves that even after total victory, cruelty is still a choice. And mercy, in a ruined street in Berlin, becomes a quiet act of rebellion against everything the war tried to turn him into. History often tells us that wars end with flags, signatures, and dates written in books. But for the people who live inside them, wars end differently. Sometimes they don't end at all. And sometimes they end in moments so small they almost disappear. A piece of bread passed from one hand to another. A pause where violence could have continued, but didn't. In the ruins of Berlin, the war did not end because one side won completely. It ended briefly because one man chose not to hate when hatred would have been easy. That choice did not rebuild the city. It did not erase the millions of dead. It did not absolve crimes or rewrite history, but it mattered anyway, because victory reveals more about a person than defeat ever could. When everything has been taken from you, kindness can be survival. But when you have power, when you are the one standing, armed and unchallenged, kindness becomes a test. The soldier passed that test quietly, without witnesses, without reward, and possibly at personal risk. This is why the story endures. Not because it makes the war look noble, but because it reminds us that even in its ugliest moments, humanity is not completely extinguished. The child would grow up in a world divided by memory and blame, but somewhere in that world would exist the knowledge that the enemy once chose mercy. And that knowledge matters, because long after the guns fall silent, what we remember is not only how wars are won, but how, in their final moments, people choose who they are,